Quasi-socialism.com. I'm Mike Conlon. I'm one of the senior instructors with the courses. Welcome to today's blog. Today's blog, we're talking about cash for refrigerators. Alright, so first you had cash for clunkers, and now we've got cash for refrigerators. And I love Peter Schiff's modest proposal of dough for dumps. If you have a chance, check out the article and read that link. It's a good read. But where's this all going to end? Okay, in the latest round of government intelligence, it's been determined that the appliance makers are the next group that deserve to make money by the powers that be. All right, now should tax-paying citizens be concerned? All right, one of the major problems with all of this government stimulus is that it's taking the decision-making process out of the hands of individuals and it's putting it in the hands of elected officials. All right, now why is that? All right, well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep up unrealistic spending patterns to support businesses. All right, now I'm all for supporting businesses, all right, but I believe that the government's going about this the wrong way. All right, what they're doing is borderline socialism. All right, and this is going to have a very negative effect, and there's going to be consequences for the United States economy and for companies who benefit from these programs. Let's take a look at why that is.
As always, be sure to check out the written blog at www.mywealth.com/blog. Okay, so potential consumers are becoming accustomed to government handouts. All right, now this is a problem that we're going to have going forward as more and more of these programs come down the pike. And think about it. If you want to buy a car, 5 months from now, all right, are you just going to go out and buy it, or are you going to wait to see if they come up with another program if this one didn't work? What happens if you missed the first one? Is that really fair? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to have problems with the way that these programs have taken place, their own participation or lack thereof in them. So, once you start handing things out from the government, people then begin to expect it, and then they begin to demand it, all right? And that's not a good thing. I mean, it's really harkens back to if you, think about the way that welfare was treated in the 70s. Now, I'm not saying that, people don't need assistance or they don't need help from time to time, but, when the government mandates that these programs are necessary, now people start to believe it themselves, okay, and they won't take action without these programs. So that's the hazard we run by having all of these programs. All right, so the other thing about it is that consumers won't spend freely now that they're going to wait for the next incentive to do so. All right, now I just briefly touched on it, but think about that. If you were a guy who needed to buy a big ticket item, say you were a farmer or in construction, and you needed this big, heavy, expensive equipment. All right, are you going to go out and buy it right away, or are you going to wait and see what happens? Maybe you're going to sit back and say, hey, you know what? They're doing this cash for clunkers, and they got the appliances going. Maybe they'll do something for the farmer with big ticket equipment. So we're really sliding down a slippery slope here because there's no real rhyme or reason to how they're deciding who's going to get these things or not. I mean, right now the excuse they're using is, well, this is going to promote energy efficiency. Well, that's great. We're going to talk about that in a second, but at the end of the day, there's got to be more to it. All right, so price appreciation in these companies is going to be short-lived. All right, so any company that stands to benefit from all of these, cash for blank programs, namely, the auto companies with these cash for clunkers, or these appliance companies. All right, these price appreciation is going to be short-lived because once the program's over, once they have their money, where's the growth going to come from? All right, no one's going to be rushing right out to buy refrigerators after this program's over. They're probably going to go through a longer period of time where people aren't going to buy them. All right, waiting to see what happens. All right, if the government wants to have a say in who's going to get paid and when, then they have to be prepared for the inevitable that people aren't going to want to work on their timeline at all points in time. All right, so a lot of these programs are described as green, but they really aren't because they're somewhat wasteful. Now, we're talking about the excuse they're using as well. This is going to promote energy efficiency. Well, that's all well and good, but at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of working materials and things of that nature that just get thrown away. And we used to talk about recycling as a big thing here, as far as being environmentally responsible. So I'm not certain about how green these programs really are. That's up for debate. Okay, but what they should be doing is that they should be leaving the decision to the individual. All right, so the individual should decide whether or not they want to participate. All right, so they should have the choices, not the government. All right, so if you want to go out and if you decide you want to be green, you know what? That's great. I love you for it. The rest of the world loves you for it. Okay, the environment loves you for it. That's a good thing, and you should be encouraged to do so. Okay, but you don't want to get into a situation where you're sitting there and you're saying, well, you know what? I don't want to do it now because maybe there's going to be some other program coming down the road, or it's not fair. I didn't get to take advantage of the program when I was ready to do so, okay? And now I have to pay more than everybody else did, so maybe now I'm not going to go green, okay? So this could actually act as a social deterrent, all right? And that's, I think, the wrong message that we want to spend, especially when we're talking about the environment. All right, so the way the government should be doing this is by giving people individual tax breaks for making these decisions. You know what? It's great. You want to put solar panels on your house? Awesome. Here's a tax rebate for it. You want to upgrade to an energy-efficient refrigerator? Great. Here's a tax break for it. All right. You shouldn't. Not everybody should have to bear the cost of your decision to upgrade and to become more energy efficient. As I said in my written blog, if I decide that I do want to become green, I'm certainly not going to be sending you my electricity savings. So, anyway, that's some food for thought regarding these programs. All right, so don't wait. Get in the course, get educated. Come to www.mywealth.com and really take hold of your investing and your trading and learn about how these government programs can affect different stocks in different sectors.
At the end of the day, we're all paying now through the expenditure of our tax dollars to go green, even though the majority of us are still using the same old stuff. All right, I thought one of the goals of being environmentally responsible was to recycle products. All right, my grandfather, who lived through the Great Depression, used to say, "Why should I buy a new television? This one works just fine." All right, it's a shame how quickly we forget the past. All right, so if you're in the market for a new refrigerator, well, you're in luck. All right, by all means, take advantage of the free money. All right, but bear in mind that this money isn't actually free, and that you've also already unwillingly paid for someone else's brand new car and their new house. All right, so to learn more about how government programs can affect stocks and your investments, be sure to check out our stock trading and investment 101 courses. Okay, so I'm Mike Conlon. Thanks for being with me, and I hope to see you in those courses.